will keep playoff hopes alive, and this game will be brought to you in high definition by Sony. We're ready to go. Opening kickoff coming up. A Carolina blue sky in Charlotte. Temperature closing in on 70 degrees. Can this be December 17th? 3 games to go in the regular season, and John Fox, he's rued the losses the last 3 outings, all against the NFC East, as he went down to Washington, Philadelphia, and New York Giants, and had a chance to win all 3. And Bill Cowher has put things together after that terrible 2-6 start. He's won 4 of the last 5. But his Steelers actually at this moment would have to have more help to get into the playoffs than Carolina. John Casey gets it started as he sinks his left foot into it, spins it down to Najee Davenport, the ex-Green Bay Packer. And the big runner from Miami of Florida gets it to the 28-yard line. Returns Santonio Holmes and the tight end Heath Miller. Big Ben sets him up at the 28. Trying to throw in first down. Out of the backfield, Kreider, the fullback, can't hang on. Thunder Dan, they'd like to give him a bone, and it usually doesn't come this early in the game. He rarely gets a chance to carry. Here's the defense with Peppers, a superstar at defensive end. Kamawatu, Jenkins, and Rucker, the strength of this Carolina team, those 4 men up front. Davis, and Diggs are the linebackers for the Panthers. Rookie Marshall at one corner. Lucas returns at the other with Williams and Minter, the hard-hitting safeties. Willie Parker with Heath Miller in motion, and it's Parker, a Carolinian. He's from Clinton, North Carolina, and he is greeted by half the Panther defense. Couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down and 8. AFC has had an enjoyable advantage over the NFC during the course of the regular season.
It's really reflected in the playoff picture, where you see a team like Pittsburgh can have such a slim chance of a playoff hopes at 7 losses, where if you're on the NFC side, if you can finish 9-7, you're almost guaranteed a playoff spot.
Najee Davenport comes in for Parker as Roethlisberger's in the shotgun, and these Carolina fans trying to spur the defense. Big Ben, lots of time. Now he's hitting down. He goes at the 21-yard line. Corner blitz, and shooting through is Chris Gamble. He and Lucas have been off duty with injuries, but they return for this game, and Gamble flying in from the corner to register his first sack of the season.
Julius Peppers coming from the top. He gets double teamed, and that leaves things wide open for Chris Gamble. So there's the commitment. If you're going to single one tackle and double a defensive end, there's nobody left to pick up the blitz inside by Gamble. That was very well timed by the Carolina defense.
So out comes Gardocki, the left-footed to punt. Tay Biddle, one of the kick returners. This one is a high wobbler. And Biddle tackled at the 35-yard line. Chidi Iwomba makes the tackle. And the ex-California star able to stop the Panther. And keep your eye on Steve Smith, number 89, the sensational little wide receiver. Quick throw is over the head of Smith, and good thing that it was incomplete, but coming up to cover in a hurry was Bryant McFadden. Here's the defense of the Steelers, 3-4 set with Smith, big guy Hampton in the middle, and Kiesel the front 3. And the linebackers, here's the power of the defense for Blitzburg with Higgins, Ferrier, Foote, and Joey Porter. Back line of Townsend and McFadden at the corners with Tyrone Carter for Troy Polamalu, and Anthony Smith starts at the other safety spot for Ryan Clark. 2nd and 10. Winky dumps it out of the backfield to Foster. Deshaun Foster powers his way forward to the 44, a couple of yards shy of the first down. Anthony Smith makes the tackle, and Randy, it's time for some crosstalk.
Well, I look at this game and some stuff for you all out there to keep an eye on. Hot peppers, and that's pretty simple. It's really up to Julius Peppers. You got to dominate this game, and you got to put the ball in the hands of Steve Smith when it comes to the offensive side for Carolina. And as far as the Steelers, you run the ball, you sack the quarterback, you strip the ball, and you get turnovers. You play Steeler football, you got a shot at being 9-7.
3rd down and 2 for Carolina. Winky into the shotgun with Foster at his side, and Michael Gaines, the tight end, dumps it underneath. 43. But Deshaun Foster unable to get to the past the line of scrimmage as Larry Foote there quickly and had plenty of support, and no gain on 3rd and 2. Out comes the punt team for the Panthers.
Are you sure this isn't the confluence there with the rivers outside the stadium? Because it sure seems like it's Steeler country.
Yeah, throughout the city this weekend, our hotel in downtown Charlotte, all black and gold. They do travel well, these loyal Steeler fans. Santonio Holmes, the rookie from Ohio State, down at the 10-yard line, and here's Jason Baker's boot. Slider, fair catch, 19. So the Steelers have the ball after a 37-yard punt. Roethlisberger ready to wind up and throw. And welcome back to Carolina. No score. 2nd possession for the Steelers at their 19. Come out in a 2 tight end set with Miller and Jeremy Tooman. Santonio Holmes split left and Hines Ward flanked right. Willie Parker in the backfield. Roethlisberger perhaps changing plays. And gives to Parker. No, it's off. Yeah, it is Parker off the right side across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Give him a little daylight, and Willie Parker will find it. Doesn't need a big hole, but has become such a patient runner with all that speed and power that he just needs a crack and can give you some good yardage. Didn't get it that time. And
with the speed of a Julius Peppers, you're better off going at him. You're better off challenging and going right at him because he will catch you from behind.
2nd and a long 7. Roethlisberger shifts into the shotgun. 4 wide with Parker slotted. Throw underneath, complete to Miller, the tight end, and he's wrestled down at the 27-yard line. Let's go back to Willie Parker and look, Randy, at what a great runner has to do, the decisions to make.
Well, you look at it and you say, wow, look at that big hole backside. Maybe you can just run through the big wide one. Well, Willie Parker sees a different hole because he sees a little window there right in front of him, and that's the smart way to go because you've got coming from the left side Alan Faneca, your all-pro offensive guard, doing an excellent job of trapping here. So you just sort of turn sideways and jump through the hole. It's a little different running style that Willie Parker's brought to this offense. He is no bus.
He got about 15 on that. 3rd down and 3, and here comes the pressure. Roethlisberger ripped down. Michael Rucker got there first, and then Chris Jenkins finished the job. So 2 possessions, 2 sacks for the Carolina Panthers.
Coming off the left side, Marvell Smith working against Rucker. Rucker gets there high, gets shrugged off, and then it's hello, little Julius Peppers in the face. It'll make you think he's meant to do that on purpose.
So Ty Biddle back to return for Carolina as they improve their field position. Chris Gardocki waiting for the snap inside the 5. High, well booted ball. Drifting back is Biddle, 30, 35. And out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Greg Warren makes the tackle. 51 on the punt, 12 on the return. What a picture day today for football players and fans. Nearly 70 degrees. Jake Delhomme, 59 consecutive starts, ended last week with that right thumb injury. Storied quarterback out of Louisiana Lafayette, a free agent coming on the way to the Super Bowl. Here's Deshaun Foster, the former UCLA star, banging his way forward for a couple.
And, you know, Jake's got the torn ligament in his thumb. You know, it'll always be called kind of a sprain. And you talk to John Fox, and he kind of chuckles and laughs. He says, hey, that's a torn ligament.
Hit his throwing hand on the helmet of Darwin Walker in the Philadelphia game. Actually threw a touchdown pass on the play to Steve Smith.
Well, it was cold, and it was a game, and that, you know, the adrenaline gets flowing, and you ignore those injuries, but you can't ignore it once you cool off.
2nd and 8 for the Panthers. The fake. Winky a lot of time. Over the middle, Keyshawn Johnson, 40-yard line, first down. Anthony Smith made the tackle as the Panthers invade Steeler territory for the first time.
Well, when Johnson gets back to the huddle, Winky ought to thank him, because this ball had interception written all over it. But Keyshawn Johnson goes up and gets it. That's the kind of pass that Chris Winky's got to try to avoid throwing, the one that kind of slips and gets away, because, you know, you let that thing get away, and Tyrone Carter's sitting right there waiting for the interception.
Former Southern California Trojan star Johnson with 165 straight games now with the reception. His first year here with the Panthers. The now pass out to Steve Smith, and Smith caught by an ankle and goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line. If that corner isn't up pressing Smith, not a bad idea if he's got a little running room, a little turf on which to work, to let him fake his way upfield.
Well, you know, you can take a now pass and give it to a Steve Smith and turn it into a wow play. That's why you go to that effort, and that's why when you have a guy like that, you know, think of the teams around the league that have that great return type. People say, get him the ball. Well, Steve Smith happens to be a great receiver who happens to return kicks.
Just a long handoff, and it's good for 6 yards on first down. Both D'Angelo Williams, the rookie, and Deshaun Foster in the backfield. Winky's got to hurry. They've got him wrestled in a standing position, unable to move. A sack for the Steelers at the 40 is Brett Kiesel, who has 4 sacks coming into the game. The 5-year veteran from Graybull, Wyoming.
Well, there's 3 jobs of a quarterback. That's to win, that's to take care of the ball, and when it comes late in the game, you got to make the plays. Well, Chris Winky does job number 2 pretty good, because he takes care of the ball. He gets that ball back in, doesn't try to get too creative, and which usually leads to a turnover, because he's got that thing out there waving it around. He's lucky that Clark Hagan's didn't knock that thing out of his hand.
Yeah, Hagan's the man who forced him up into the cup and right into the arms of Kiesel. Third down, and Carolina has struggled in this situation, worst in the NFL, less than 30%. 3rd and 9, out of the backfield, complete to Brad Hoover, and Hoover down to the 32. Larry Foote makes the stop short of the first down. Interesting choice coming up. Well, it didn't take John Fox long to make it. He sends out the field goal unit, and left foot kicker John Casey.
Well, there's still a lot of pop and bang in Casey's leg, especially here under these conditions. Virtually no wind, a still nearly 70-degree day. I think his range probably extends about another 6-7 yards back.
This is a 50-yard attempt, his longest this year, 54. He's only missed twice, from 53 and 65. He's been as accurate as any, 21 of 23. How about this one? It is no good. Slides wide left. It didn't come back. It looked as if it wanted to pull through the upright, stayed on the left side. So from 50, John Casey just misses, and we're still in a scoreless tie. Score, stats, highlights all around the league on your mobile phone. You can access it by going to NFL.com, clicking on NFL Mobile. Well, the missed field goal gives the Steelers good field position, 40-yard line. Parker for 4, and down he goes there. Well, you know, when you average 17 points a game, you want every point you can get, and on the field goal, a little heart in the helping hand of the guy who hits the cannon. He thought it was good. Saw it with his heart.
You didn't know he's related to John Casey?
He tried to engineer 3, but it didn't work. 2nd down and 5.
These are the right downs and distances to get this defensive front four in. You want them thinking run.
And it is the reverse, and around the corner comes Nate Washington, but it does not work. No gain. Well read by Michael Rucker, who held his ground, the defensive end from Nebraska.
Well, the key there for Rucker is he's on the backside of the play. He never loses his responsibility to the play, and he stays in place. Here's Rucker right here. Watch him. He doesn't chase. He sits. He sits. That is excellent defensive responsibility, and then the quickness to go after it once you get it.
Fans raise the volume on 3rd and 5.
Little 3-man line for Carolina. That's a new look.
Out Out of the shotgun, Big Ben. Just does get it away. Deflected, incomplete. Oh, a dangerous pass for Hines Ward, who was surrounded by Panthers, and Chris Gamble might have gotten a hand on it.
Well, they only had 3 defensive linemen, but then they brought, with the blitz, they bring Davis and they bring Draft, and they put that final pressure on, and Roethlisberger gets his arm knocked as he's trying to throw that, and is real lucky that wasn't a pick.
Well, Ken Lucas actually gets his hand in there. They had 3 men. Yardaki, a dying spiral. Tay Biddle will call for the fair catch at the 17-yard line after a 39-yard punt. No score, first quarter. Spirit here at Bank of America Stadium, 73,000 plus the capacity, as Carolina sets up at their own 16. 5:20 left in the opening quarter, no score. Winky to Deshaun Foster. Not much there at all as Farrier and Foote, linebackers up to clog things up. CBS Sportsline Sunday Game Center features lightning fast scoring of every NFL game. Plus, you can check out the detailed playoff scenarios. Well, that's right, detailed indeed. It's all at CBSSportsline.com. It'll help you figure out how your team's doing, those that are battling, especially in the wild card race.
Well, injury, it may directly affect the running and pass protection. Will Montgomery's in for Wall at left guard. Dick.
Montgomery, the rookie from Virginia Tech, hand off Foster, spins out of the tackle and then grabbed from behind by Joey Porter and dragged at the 19-yard line. It'll be 3rd and long for Carolina, and we're going to go long to New York and JB.
All right, Dick, Chicago trying to clinch home field throughout. Take a look here. Rex Grossman dropping back, a little pressure right here, so he gets it off. Perfect toss to Desmond Clark, the tight end. 24-yarder, 7-0 Bears. Back to Dick Enberg. Randy Cross.
All right, thank you, James. As the Bears, one of the few teams to lock up their spot in the playoffs, already have the bye.
They still calling for Brian Greasy? that cuts down on that stuff, doesn't it?
They sure does. Doesn't winning take care of so much. 3rd down and long. Winky off a play action fake. Again has to go underneath, and it's D'Angelo Williams across the 20 to the 22. And listen to the Steeler fans cheer. And that's because they want an update. Let's go back to New York.
All right, Dick and Randy, take a look here. New England, of course, shut out last week, looking to bounce back. Here, Tom Brady handing off to the running back, Kevin Falke, 11 yards to pay dirt. They've added a field goal. 10-0 New England over Houston. Dick and Randy.
All right, thanks, James. And, of course, every game, every score of importance will be visiting you often today. Here's the punter, Jason Baker. The kick to Santonio Holmes. Holmes plays it at the 31, eludes 2, gets across the 35 to the 36-yard line. 47-yard punt, 5 on Holmes' return. Carolina with the ball when we come back. This ball in this scoreless first quarter. Prior to the kickoff today, a moment of silence for Lamar Hunt. One of the most powerful but unpretentious men in NFL history. He was a man born of riches, yet with a humble, common passion for all sports, but especially pro football. He was a founder of the American Football League, earning his ticket for NFL acceptance for his beloved Kansas City Chiefs. He was a gentle giant, generous and good, in an always understated Hall of Fame way. Lamar Hunt was 74. Everyone that he touched felt better about their position in life. What a quality. First play is to Santonio Holmes and overthrown by Roethlisberger. So far, all defense, Randy.
Well, not a huge surprise. Both these offenses have struggled coming in here, and if there's a strength for both teams, it is on the defensive side. I think right off the bat, you have to say that this front four for Carolina has done a very effective job of bottling up Willie Parker. Because if you let him get past the front four, he's at about 3/4 speed. If he gets to the DBs, he's gone.
Only 11 rushing yards and a -12 passing yards because of the 2 sacks. Here's Parker trying to get outside, gets the corner, but then runs out of room on the sidelines. Chris Draft, who replaced Dan Morgan in game 1 of the season when Morgan, the Pro Bowler, was lost for the season with a concussion.
Yeah, the rookie Santonio Holmes doing a nice job out there, as is the case with these Pittsburgh Steelers. If you're going to be a receiver, you had best be a real good blocker. And you got to sit in a meeting room with a Hines Ward who puts such a high level on his play. You learn to live up to that pretty fast.
3rd down and 4 against the toughest defense in the league on 3rd down. 28.6% is all Carolina has allowed. Roethlisberger, the quick throw to the sidelines to Ward, and he's got it at the 48 of the Panthers. And listen to the Steeler fans cheer.
Well, if you have a butterfly net, you could say you snare it, and it's almost like his arms are a butterfly net. Ward's been out the last couple of weeks with the knee injury, working against a very good corner. Roethlisberger gives him the fastball, and that butterfly net goes out there, and he just snatches it.
Michael Rucker injured on the play, as you see. Ward with his 58th catch of the season, leading the Steelers despite the fact he's missed a couple of games. Timeout. One of the key members of that Carolina front four, Mike Rucker, led off favoring a leg. We'll get a report as soon as it officially is given to us. Let's take a look at it.
Well, here's Damian Lewis, and here's Mike Rucker on the line of scrimmage. And Damian Lewis just sort of hops right into the side of the left leg as Rucker is planted on it. You've got to really hope for Carolina Panthers' sake that wasn't a knee, because all the weight was on that left leg.
Steelers' first visit in Carolina territory, and here comes Willie Parker, and he's down to the 38-yard line, close to a 1st down. Niall Diggs tripped him up. Gain of about 9.
You know, Dick, we talked about a 3/4 speed by linebacker and full speed by defensive backs. Willie Parker has the ability, as all great backs do, to almost not lose speed going sideways. When he makes those breaks, he's actually coming out of the breaks accelerating, and he's one broken tackle right there from a long touchdown run, and he can do that any play they give him the ball.
Parker, who barely played at North Carolina, undrafted. Quick throw out to Ward. Ward, a fine runner, and he ducks out of bounds at the 30. A gain of about 8 more, and a 1st down for the Steelers.
You know, that was a nice little dump play, but for the Steelers to really be effective, they've got to get the running game going. And as nice as it was to see, you know, what Willie Parker did, he's really struggled on the road. I mean, because just look at this. What a contrast. Could you ask for a bigger contrast? You know, that's why we talked about they need to be a road runner, because on the road they have not run it at all.
It's amazing the difference between their success running the football. Part of it is because they've fallen behind in road games and have had to throw the ball more, but even with that, it's such a dramatic difference. Here comes Roethlisberger. Pump fake. He wants to go for a touchdown. Wide open is Holmes. And a flag down, and perhaps the reason he couldn't get to it was Richard Marshall, the Fresno State rookie corner, took a grab.
Well, and it was a smart grab, because it was a touchdown. They were fooled. Carolina defense was fooled big time. They were bringing the blitz. Roethlisberger got the protection, and they would have paid with 6.
Pass interference. Defense number 31. Penalizes the spot of the foul and 1st down.
And if you're just joining us and you hear all the cheers on calls that go for the Steelers, it's because Pittsburgh well represented with this fan base down in Charlotte today.
Here's the matchup right here, and the hold's actually going to take place right about here on the field. Watch Marshall, a little double move, and at the double move occurs, that's where the grab occurred, and that's actually a pretty smart play. So it saved a touchdown.
1st down on the penalty at the 17. It's Parker. Hesitates, and then there's nothing at all as Damian Lewis and Chris Jenkins, the 2 tackles, converged.
This Carolina organization's got to be so happy that Chris Jenkins has stayed healthy the whole year, missing 2 seasons with, you know, various injuries, has been such a hugely dominant inside player on this defense. It has not had a season up to his normal standards, but after those kind of injuries back to back, you got to think by next year he'll be back at full speed.
2-time Pro Bowler out of Maryland and Ypsilanti, Michigan. Couple of left-yard loss on the play. Now the screen, and it doesn't work at all. Is that ruled? No, incomplete. No fumble. Niall Diggs, the man who made the hit on Willie Parker. No chance for Parker. The ball arrived, and so did Diggs.
What's that old song? Me and my shadow. Well, Niall Diggs is the shadow, number 53 right here. and he's going everywhere Willie goes. And I mean, he's literally almost inside his jersey when he goes that way.
Former Buckeye putting the hit on the 4.3 speed of Willie Parker. No chance to get to any gear at all. 3rd and 12.
Empty backfield, bringing the blitz.
Now Najee Davenport moves back to block. Roethlisberger pumps and throws to Davenport on the screen. 20-10. Down to the 2. What a good call.
And what a nice run. You know, Dick, you often hear at junior football, high school football, college football, when you're running with the ball, split the tacklers. Watch Najee Davenport go between tacklers, between them again, and it almost gets him in the end zone.
18-yard play. 1st and goal, Pittsburgh. When we come back, 2nd quarter. Charlotte, North Carolina. Temperature about 70 degrees. We open the 2nd quarter, and Bill Cowher's Steelers have a 1st and goal just outside the 1-yard line. Willie Parker, the tailback. The fake by Roethlisberger. Is he going to run it in? You bet. Listen to the Steeler reaction in Carolina.
Dick, that's a play action. It was all set up by that offensive line up front in front of Ben Roethlisberger, really selling out and selling that run fake, which sucked the linebackers and defensive backs up. See him come off the ball and engage the defensive line for Carolina. There was nobody in pursuit. The nearest man was Julius Peppers, and he was well off the pace.
2nd touchdown run for Roethlisberger this year. Only 38 total yards rushing for him. He isn't running the ball the way he did his first 2 seasons. Try for point by Jeff Reed. Reed, a native of Charlotte and attended the University of North Carolina, adds the extra point, and Big Ben and company have a 7-0 lead. For the touchdown on a 9-play drive of 63 yards. A little over 3 minutes, and the key play was that 3rd and 12 screen to Najee Davenport. That took the ball right down to the goal line. The ex-Tar Heel Reed booms one into the end zone, and D'Angelo Williams will let it go through for the touchback. You've seen them walk the red carpet. Now see them walk the beat. Watch what happens when real celebrities become real cops, armed and famous. Coming your way in January to CBS.
You get a lot of Chicago Bears and NBA players on that show.
Oh my. Down 7-0 here. The Panthers. Chris Winkie, the Florida State star. 2nd consecutive start for Delhomme. Down the middle and almost intercepted. But how did Smith get the ball? How did he get it away from Anthony Smith, the rookie, who seemed to be diving in for the interception? And Bryant McFadden was there as well. No, it's McFadden who had a shot at it.
Well, he had good position inside. Smith just goes after it harder than he does. See the way he cut right back in for the ball as he saw it up in the air. That's one of the reasons this is one of the top playmakers in the NFL. A guy that every single play you best have at least one player or 2 players on, I think.
And McFadden left the field holding his right shoulder. Ike Taylor in for him. Handoff goes inside to Foster, short yardage, as Carolina has not been able to muster any significant running game, and that's been part of their problems throughout this year.
Well, hasn't that been, Dick? I mean, 4 carries for 7 yards right now for Foster in this running game, and that's really been the difference for John Fox and this team to me. Defensively, they haven't gotten the turnovers they normally have, but this is a team you always associate with a hard, physical running game, a team that can just smack it in your face and set up all those long play action type passes.
On 2nd down and long, it's Foster behind Winkie. Underneath, incomplete. Threw it behind Deshaun Foster. So 3rd down 8, and that's when the Steelers like to key up the blitz.
And that's what always is so difficult when you face the Pittsburgh Steelers and Dick LeBeau. You've got the three-man line, but it's a deceiving three-man line that Bill Cowher puts out there, because on third down, especially third and long, Joey Porter's a defensive end. Clark Hagan's is a defensive end. You're looking at least 5, usually 6 guys coming off this defense at you in third and long.
And the 2 men you mentioned are lined up, and Porter taking the three-point stance, and here he comes. Winky down the middle. Diving try by Keyshawn Foster, or Drew Carter rather, and he is unable to come up with it. First throw to Carter, 6'3", 200-pounder out of Ohio State. Now they're going to call that a catch after all. I thought I saw it waved off.
Well, Chris Winky does an excellent job again of getting this ball where only his guy can get it. And Carter does exactly what Steve Smith does, is he goes and gets the ball. He doesn't wait for the ball to come to him. A trait a lot of young receivers have got to learn when they come in this league. There's such a fine line about when you're open and when you're not, and sometimes you just got to go get it.
Timeout by Winky, and that's a case where Carter, he landed on his back and thus didn't let the ground help him catch the ball. Wasn't that fun yesterday?
Oh, unbelievable.
At the U.S. National Whitewater Center.
It has to rain quite a bit to get the wash up quite like that, though.
First down for Carolina at the 44-yard line. Keyshawn Johnson in motion, and here's D'Angelo Williams. The rookie breaks one tackle but doesn't get far as the pursuing Steeler defense. Tyrone Carter coming up quickly from safety to finish the job.
You know, he might be, and D'Angelo Williams being the spark this team needs, not only in these last 3 games but also starting next year. Such a great performer at Memphis last year, and was drafted high by this football team, and not exactly overutilized, has been hurt a little bit, but he's got a little bit pop and sizzle that Parker brings to the offense of the Steelers that he can bring to these Panthers.
5'9" and 217. He was the #1 draft pick, 27th overall. Shotgun Winky on 2nd and long. Blitz. Oh, did they get there in a hurry? James Ferrier. He was in Winky's face before he could step up to throw. Ferrier with his 4th sack of the season.
Well, Ferrier comes clean. You saw earlier Gamble comes clean. Here's Ferrier. Watch him come right through here, because everyone's worried about, okay, where's the blitz? Who's coming? And you go outside, you've got 2 decisions. One is, who do I block? And B is, do I take the inside guy? And the first one was correct. The last one was wrong. The inside guy was Ferrier, and he's always the guy you want to try to get first.
There's Troy Polamalu, the sensational safety of the Steelers, on the sidelines, this 4-year veteran. I hope he'll heal for the final couple of games, and that should be a false start on the Panthers.
False start. Offense number 73. A 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Jeremy Bridges, the right tackle. Well, here's the Carolina situation if a miracle should happen. And the first segment, if they win all 3 and New Orleans loses all 3, they could still win the division. New Orleans is trailing at the moment, and then it gets more complicated for the wild card.
For this team, the man in charge of miracles is 89, Steve Smith. It's not going to be the running game this late in the season. They need those big lightning plays out of their wide receiver.
3rd and 23. Short underneath. It's complete to the tight end Michael Gaines, and he gets to the Pittsburgh 48, and that'll bring on the punting team. Back to Carolina's situation with the wild card. You saw they're going to be battling with the Giants in Philadelphia, and part of their problem is that Fox's team lost all 4 games to the NFC East, so they're not just 1 game behind the Eagles and Giants, and head-to-head they're really 2 back. Absolutely.
It didn't hurt them last night, though, with Dallas taking Atlanta and beating them. The other team they need to finish in front of. They need to be 9-7, and then they need help.
Santonio Holmes, rookie at the 10 to match the number on his back. And a whistle, flag down, false start again, Carolina. So this has been an ugly possession.
False start. Offense number 54. A 5-yard penalty. It remains 4th down.
Vinny Churchu, he got the choo-choo going too early on that one, did Churchu. You like to say his name, don't you?
Churchu?
Yeah, you can
say
say it.
Churchu kind of rolls off your tongue. I like that. He kind of rolled backwards a little early.
And that'll allow
See, now they got their hand on his backside so he can't roll to it.
Jason Baker can allow full swing of the leg on this one, and does. Beautiful high kick. Fair catch. Holmes looking up into the sun. It'll be Steeler ball at the 15-yard line. 10-12 left in this opening half. Steve Smith and the frustrated Carolina offense trailing 7-0.
Live on NFL Network.
So many teams involved in wild card possibilities, so you'll want to be up to date on the Sprint halftime report. We'll have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Here it's the Steelers, 7-0. 10-12 left in the second. Willie Parker behind Roethlisberger. Holmes in motion. Parker started right, heads left, 20, 25. Look at the speed out to the 35-yard line, out of bounds at the 36. And Thomas Davis, who played safety at Georgia, now a linebacker, has terrific speed, and he needed it to get to Parker and bump him out of bounds.
The two words you hear most associated with Willie Parker are contain and really corral. And this defense does neither. The young linebacker Davis, number 58, is a little bit late in his responsibilities, I think, getting back up the field and containing that play. Willie Parker's got a very, very unusual burst that surprises defenses, and surely did Carolina.
21 yards on that, 45 for the game. Here he comes again around the right side. 40. He's got some strength too. Just pushes the tackler out of the way, and he's out of bounds at the 46. Just shredded Richard Marshall's attempt to bring him down. We're ready for an update. Let's go to JB in New York.
Hey, Dick and Randy, while others on the Saints get an awful lot of visibility, Deuce McAllister just stays steady. His 9th rushing touchdown of the season, 10th overall, capping a 13-play, 80-yard drive, 10-7. Skins on top of the Saints. Back to Dick and Randy.
Certainly one of the terrific stories of this season, New Orleans Saints, and how Sean Payton has put that club into winning form, but trailing the Redskins by 3. Najee Davenport for Parker after he picked up a couple of quick first downs near midfield, and now the end around to Sid Wilson. He's going to throw the ball. Beautiful throw, and it's complete to the 33-yard line to Hines Ward.
Antoine Randall who?
Cedric Wilson, yes.
That was Antoine Randall L's job here with Pittsburgh, to be the throwing threat, and this is with authority. You know, you don't often say the wide receiver really zipped that thing in there, but he zipped that thing in there like a quarterback.
21 yards.
And he was throwing to a quarterback. Hines Ward, guy that's been known to throw a few balls from time to time.
Well, Wilson was a high school quarterback back at Memphis before he migrated to the University of Tennessee. His first ever NFL completion. Good for a first down in Carolina territory. And here comes Parker. Nothing inside, outside, then patiently burrows his way for a gain of a couple 3. Let's go back to New York and JB.
Steve McNair out, having had his hand stepped on, so Kyle Bowler is in. Play action here, hooking up with Obi Mahali, a 14-3. Ravens lead over Cleveland. That in the second. Back to Dick Enberg and Randy Cross.
Well, at this time of the year, those backups have to come in and produce, and Kyle Bowler with some results for the Ravens. Second down for the Steelers. Roethlisberger going to keep it. 25, 20, and ducks out of bounds. Another first down, to the delight of these Steeler fans. It's not a long drive from Pittsburgh, and many making the trip.
Well, there's a rule for quarterbacks. If you can move, and that's green grass means green light and go. And look at Peppers give Ben a little late shot in the middle of the back that he got away with. I mean, that wasn't even on the white. That was over all the way over onto the grass. That was
unnecessary.
Well, definitely unnecessary. And this gives you a little picture about how frustrating it can be to be a defender sometimes. That's not to excuse it, because that isn't excusable, but that's all born of frustration.
Steelers eating up big chunks of yardage on every play on this drive. First down at the 19. Back to Parker. And he's down to the 10, and a gain of 9 before Thomas Davis can drag him down. And Parker having a huge second quarter as he's hiked his numbers up to 70 yards in the game.
Watch the defensive front four you were talking about there, Dick. They go sideways, and when they go sideways, and Rucker, I mean, the guy that gets fooled is 77 Jenkins. He's so out of position that opens that hole up, and Faneca does a nice job of adjusting and opening it up, but that's what this running game wants you to do. They want to get you running, then Parker can make the cut.
2nd and 1. Back to Parker. Off the left side, gets a yard. Maybe not enough for a first down, however. Well, you talk about that front 5 of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You've got some all-star talent. Faneca, Pro Bowler 5 times. Hardings has made the Pro Bowl the last 2 years, the center. And 2 years ago, Marvell Smith, the left tackle, a Pro Bowler. So you got some real blocking talent to run behind.
Well, that should be strength on strength. Because this front 4, they should be the strength of this defense. But right now, that front 4 is getting handled with the run by that Pittsburgh offensive line.
3rd and 1. Najee Davenport now a tailback. He's got some size. They meet him at the line of scrimmage, however, and the Steelers are denied as Niall Diggs and Sean Williams collaborate on the tackle. Let's see now where they give forward progress. Perhaps close enough, yes, to measure.
That's about denying push by the offense. When Alan Faneca has to hit Niall Diggs a glancing blow in the hole because he has the perfect defensive fit, you know the defense has played that one just like the textbook taught him.
Good pickup for Bill Cowher to get Najee Davenport. They acquired him after week 1 of the season. Last year, a broken ankle at Green Bay in the 5th game. And
well, heck, if you were a Green Bay running back last year, you were on injured reserve, it seemed like.
It was automatic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it even, you know, it struck them all. It struck the starter, Amon Green. He got Najee Davenport.
Bill Cowher with a 7-0 lead. And it's 4th down and length of the ball, and he keeps Roethlisberger in there with Willie Parker. Well, Carolina's been very generous, Randy, on 4th down situations. They've only stopped the opposition twice in 11 attempts on 4th down.
Well, they don't have to be generous against this offensive line. Alan Faneca and this group, they'll just flat take it.
And Roethlisberger, a big man, might sneak it. He does. And he gets a good push. Didn't need much. And it appears he's got the first down.
He just took that snap and put his shoulder right on the backside of Hardings, his center, and propelled Hardings all the way through the other side. Watch 64, the center. After Roethlisberger starts pushing him, you'll see him come squirting out the back. See him out there about 3 yards.
Oh, boy, Harding's getting nailed from the defense in front, and Roethlisberger pushing him harder right into the thrust defensively. It's a first down and goal.
It's one of the values of having a young, very strong physical quarterback who's been lifting a lot of weights, and it sure looked like it there.
The quick throw is incomplete into the flat to Dan Kreider, the fullback. And that one wasn't close to the target.
We talk about Ben Roethlisberger. It was funny. He spent the last few days off when they had that Thursday night game. He came down to Charleston and played some golf with his buddies, and he said his body hasn't felt this good late in the season for a long time. And I thought he was referring to the break and the golf and the relaxation. And he said it's because he's lifting 4 days a week, and he'd never done that before. And it's made his body feel stronger, and he looks different. Physically, he looks a little tighter and better condition.
6'5" and over 240 pounds, but more fit. 2nd and goal. Gets out of trouble. And now throws into the end zone, incomplete, overthrowing Willie Parker. But did a good job. 2 occasions the Panthers thought they had him sacked. Al Wallace being one of those. He's playing for Michael Rucker. Rucker, by the way, it's an injured left knee and unlikely that he will return.
Well, some of the better passes you make, or some of the better runs you don't make, in that case almost slipping, are the ones that are really non-plays. Young quarterbacks try to force it. Experienced quarterbacks with a Super Bowl ring on their finger just throw it away.
Spread formation shotgun on 3rd and goal from the 8-yard line. Miller in motion. They like to go to the tight end in this situation. Instead, they go underneath to Holmes, and Holmes fighting to the end zone. Touchdown! What a second effort by the rookie from Ohio State.
That was a wonderful play designed by the offensive coaches, Ken Wisenhunt, Mark Whipple, the quarterback coach, all of them. because defenses tend to concentrate on Hines Ward. Hines Ward cleared that area out, and Santonio Holmes came right underneath him.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown.
It was a nice delivery, but by the time Santonio Holmes got there, that had already been cleared out. Thomas Davis couldn't make the tackle, and Santonio Holmes wasn't letting the DB do it.
I think John Fox is going to challenge that Holmes' knee was down before he stretched the ball into the end zone. Well, the red flag's out. Did look as if his knee might have been down before he was able to lurch forward, but what an effort by Holmes.
Especially on this look right here. You see the initial hit by Thomas Davis right there, 58. Then is he down?
His elbow is down.
Second lens,
yes.
yeah. That
his
right
elbow was down at the 1. Yep.
Carolina's challenged the ruling on the field,
which is a big call because that would bring up 4th and 1.
Down by contact.
With a 7-0 lead. As Bill Cowher's team looking for a 2-touchdown edge if the play holds.
And remember, you can put the hand down. The hand's fine, but if any part of basically the wrist or the forearm or the elbow hits the ground, that marks you as down. So once again, here we see the first hit. And then as he spins and lurches, look at his knees. Are his knees down? No. But the elbow right there, that elbow went down on the ground. That was clearly down, and the ball was at about the 1-yard line when it happened. Coming out of the spin, keeping the legs churning. They are not down.
Play dead right now.
Bang.
Now he's reaching forward. The ball is forward of his body, so it's close to the goal line.
And from that angle, it's kind of hard to say exactly, but I guarantee you that ball is somewhere at least around the 1, if not right inside of it. Elbow down. There's the ball right about there.
The shadow.
And that elbow right there where the shadow is.
Shadow of the ball. Look at that. That's an interesting shot, isn't it?
With that shadow on it, yeah.
Santonio Holmes saying, yeah, I'd like to get this touchdown. It'd be my 2nd in the NFL. He was picked in the 1st round by the Steelers, the 25th player picked, knowing they'd lost Randall L. They needed another wide receiver.
Well, they might be getting ready to improve that one a little bit.
John Fox, who was a Steeler assistant actually earlier in his coaching career, the last 3 years of Chuck Noll before Bill Cowher took over. He was an assistant on Noll's staff, and now here's Cowher, 15 years, and what a legacy. The two of them with the continuity of this Steeler franchise. Only 2 coaches in over 30 years.
Continuity means you got a really good coach who wins a lot.
And that is exactly the definition of those 2 men. Here it is.
After review, the runner's elbow was down short of the goal line. Carolina is not charged with a timeout. That makes it 4th down. The clock will start and ready for play.
Wow, they put it on the 2-yard line.
Is that still the spot from the extra point?
No, I think maybe let's see where they're going to come in and take the ball inside. I think the linesman has come in from the sideline to grab the ball, and I think there'll be a discussion as to where the line of scrimmage is, but it's certainly not the 2.
Yeah, without a doubt. The elbow was down on the 2, but the elbow is in back of the football.
So Ron Winter was going to square away the exact spot, which is critical. On the 2, you go for the field goal, probably. On the 1, and Cowher, well, he's going to come out with a field goal unit anyway.
Just inside the 1-yard line.
And Cowher is not going to flirt with any possible goal line stand here and deny a score. He's going to go for the easy 3. Jeff Reed in, unless it's a fake, to try an extra point field goal.
Go for 10-0 in this game with your defense playing the way they are against Chris Winkie in this offense. That's a good 2-touchdown lead at 10 points.
16 for 23 on the season is Reed. Oh, he came close to hitting the upright. They all count. Number 3 adds 3. 10-0 the score. King George III's wife. Scoring drive, 84 yards and 13 plays. 2 long drives for the Steelers, 63 and 84. Roethlisberger paying off the first with a 1-yard rollout touchdown, and almost had another to Santonio Holmes, but the challenge was worth 4 points for Fox. Here's the kick to D'Angelo Williams to the 25-27-yard line, and that's where Chris Winkie and the offense will get this drive started. Next Saturday, what a lineup, basketball lineup at 2 o'clock Eastern. A doubleheader, Big Ten, Pac-10. Michigan lost only 1 against unbeaten UCLA, or BC plays Kansas. Nightcap, Ohio State Buckeyes and the reigning college champions Florida Gators, all here on CBS, home of the NCAA tournament.
My Bruins might notice a little difference between Oakland, they beat them yesterday, and the other team from Michigan they'll play next weekend.
The Bruins with a rather soft schedule thus far. They did beat Texas A&M, a ranked team, but they've kind of stayed in state, played the Cal State teams. Rod Winter pushing the clock apparently. 4:21 left in the half. There's Ryan Clark, who has been injured, trying to play today, a groin problem, and he limps off. There's been another Steeler injury, a veteran Chad Brown with a knee left early in the game today, doubtful to return. Gains a tight end in motion. Winkie starts in the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. Just does get it away and almost intercepted by Joey Porter. Oh my, Tay Biddle was downfield, but that ball was in Porter's arms.
Well, because of the pressure, Winkie tries to get it out, and this is the very kind of throw he's got to find a way to avoid, and Joey Porter had that right in his hands.
Has a couple of interceptions this year. That was Clark Higgins, the other outside linebacker, on the blind side.
And Joey Porter's wallet was about 10 grand lighter this week. The league, for an ill-advised, some would say ignorant homophobic remark he made after the game.
Described by Vulgar as they penalized him $10,000. Dump it out of the backfield to Foster, and Foster eludes one man, but there's plenty of support at the 25. James Ferrier.
Well, this defense of Pittsburgh has frustrated the Carolina Panthers so far, and no person really personifies that frustration more than Steve Smith. He's got 2 catches for 25 yards, and they've overthrown him. They've given him the ball and letting him get a couple, but whenever there's Steve Smith, there's been a crowd, and he's had to make a circus catch, and he's shown a little bit of that frustration, as most wide receivers like to do.
Unable to get deep as they're double teaming him, and that's been the pattern all season long. So 3rd and long, and Winkie under pressure, and down he goes. Another sack. Brett Kiesel gets this one, a solo for him. He's been good all season as he replaced Kimo von Oelhoffen at that defensive right end position. He's had 20 quarterback pressures and now a 5th sack of the year.
Watch the vice. This isn't a great pass rush. It isn't a fast pass rush. It's a relentless vice that closes on Chris Winkie. Kiesel does a very nice job of staying persistent and frustrating further this Carolina offense.
That's a great call, Randy Cross. The vice was closing. Who wants him? Punt by Baker with Holmes, and it's blocked at the 10 and rolls to the 12, picked up by Ike Taylor and out of bounds at the 9. Let's check the penalty flags. Were they offside?
I think it's going to be holding.
Defense or offense?
On the offensive player. Absolutely tackles. I mean, we're not even talking about kind of. James Harrison gets taken down.
Holding. Offense number 88. Penalties decline. 1st down.
Carl Hankton with a hold, and so the blocked by Bill Cowher Steelers, and here they are back in the 1st and goal situation. It's their first block kick of the season.
There's the matchup right here. Watch coming off the edge. Harrison 92. Grab that left arm right there. Spins him around. And it was unanimous. That was not only thrown by the referee, it was thrown by the side judge and thrown with authority. That was an excellent call and a great job by Harrison getting that ball in spite of it.
Nose of the ball right at the 10, so they have to go the full 10 for the touchdown as Harrison makes the block. And the Steelers leading 10-0, trying to capitalize in the final 3 minutes of this first half. Here comes Parker. He spins but cannot elude a good open field tackle by the rookie Richard Marshall.
Boy, what a nice job, though. We talk about the receivers and how well they block. Parker was going to be tackled in the hole by Sean Williams. And Sean Williams was right there. And in comes the receiver, and bang. Hines Ward gives him a little shot in the side, and Parker's able to squirt out around him.
2-yard gain, 2nd and goal at the 8. Parker now with 72 yards and a half to lead all rushers. As expected. Fake to him. Roethlisberger hit on the backside and stymied right there at about the 13-yard line. It's Al Wallace replacing the injured Michael Rucker to get the sack, his 2nd of the season, the former Maryland Terrapin.
Now here's a good job by Ron Winter and his crew. As soon as Roethlisberger is grabbed, the whistles are blown and the play is stopped. How often this year have we seen defensive linemen release quarterbacks because they've had them and the quarterbacks run away?
Great point. In a family, you learn to run hard toward the entree, and that's just what Harrison did on that block punt. Only the 2nd time Baker has had a kick blocked in more than 300 attempts in the league. Here it is, 3rd and goal from out at the 13. Roethlisberger just gets it away. It's a screen to Davenport. It worked before. It works again. Touchdown.
What a wonderful coordination. Not only a great call by Ken Wisenhunt upstairs, but you look at the inside of that Steelers offensive line with Alan Faneca, Jeff Hardings, and Kendall Simmons. They get out in front of Najee Davenport in mass and just lead a little convoy. And you don't have to have a hugely effective convoy when you got Najee Davenport with those shoulders down as low as he runs with them.
And carrying nearly 250 pounds, a tough tank to bring down. Jeff Reed, extra point try. So twice on 3rd down, they knew the blitz was coming and screened behind it. And the Steelers have capitalized on James Harrison's block punt and score on a 13-yard play. Roethlisberger screening it to Najee Davenport.
In rugby, you'd say with you as an escort. Here's that inside 3, and here's the escort for Najee Davenport. Simmons is the last one out. Hardings, Faneca, Simmons, touchdown Davenport. Brown rushing the Carolina Panthers.
Now that's not a good sign. 17-0 deficit for the Panthers is not either. As Reed kicks it off, D'Angelo Williams, rookie at the 5, has a crease and plows to the 29-yard line. And with 1:49 left in the half, Carolina will try to muster some offense. As we remind you to stay tuned for the Sprint halftime report with JB and company. They'll have analysis of our first half, all the scores, the key highlights from around the league, early games coming up on the Sprint halftime report.
Now you're in a must-pass situation, not only probably here at the end of this half, but for the rest of the second half too, unless you can change this score differential. You're averaging 17 points as an offense, and you're down 17 points as a team.
Carolina with only 3 first downs this entire half. Throw underneath is complete to Keyshawn Johnson, and the big veteran able to pick up about 5 to the 34-yard line.
And you're seeing less double teaming now for Steve Smith, because you know the quarterback has to get that ball out of his hands a lot faster. You're less concerned about what's going to happen 40-50 yards down the field, because you know your defense can get after him in the pocket.
Carolina fans booing as the Panthers are very deliberate about getting the next play off. Clock chewing up time down to 1:15. Carolina has 2 timeouts. Winky, short pass. Smith spins away from one man. He is dangerous. Now he flies into Pittsburgh territory to the 47-yard line. He said, give me a chance. I'll do something for you. Bryant McFadden finally got him down. They had him stop for a short gain, but twists away from the tackle in an 18-yard play.
Steve Smith is defensive poison. He can absolutely drop a defense.
Quick throw to the outside to Smith, trying to get out of bounds. He does. And they do make it Carl Hankton, who rarely gets a chance. In fact, that's only his 2nd catch all season. Hankton, the veteran from Trinity, Illinois.
He grabbed that pass about as good as he grabbed Harrison on that punt.
Gave him a chance. Maybe that was in the planning of Fox to get him in for something positive. Stops the clock, but gains only 3. Second down and a short 8. Smith to the right. Hankton to the left.
You've got to go down the field. And I know you're in a shotgun. I know you're getting pressure. You've got to get the protection. You've got to stretch this D a little.
Here comes the blitz. Winky can't get it off. Down he goes at the 45 in the arms of Aaron Smith. Larry Foote was there as well. 4th sack for the Steeler defense in this first half.
Dick, look at his feet. Little nervous in the soivus, and the pressure makes him go down. His blitz.
Here's Foote.
There's Foote on the feet right here, and that's half a sack. And then Smith gets the rest of it, and he gets the other half a sack, I think.
So long yardage to go now for Winky. He throws to the near sidelines. Complete. Keyshawn Johnson catches the ball out of bounds at the 38. Is that enough for a first down? What a big throw by Winky to the veteran Johnson in front of Townsend and Carter. 16 yards on the play.
And he hangs in. He's able to step up. What a contrast from the last play. You get that pressure around your feet. You can't step into a throw. No quarterback can do that. Has a strong enough arm to throw it 30 yards on a rope where he can't use his legs.
33 seconds left in the half. 1 timeout remaining for Carolina. Steelers showing blitz, and they come from the right side with Foote. The throw over the middle is complete. It's to Michael Gaines, the tight end, his first catch. He hurries to the line of scrimmage. First down inside the 20. Winky is trying to hustle up there, but again, his teammates don't seem to be in too big a hurry to set up. Clock ticks down.
They got plenty of time, Dick. You got to get points and maybe get your running game back into the game plan for the second half.
Yeah, but they wasted about 10 seconds. The throw is out of bounds to Steve Smith, and now the clock down to 7 seconds. Time maybe for 1 shot at the end zone.
Well, maybe 1 timed shot. 7 seconds for the average play in this league is going to, if you have a reception, it better be in the end zone, because it's going to leave you about 1 second on the clock. I think you got to kick it here.
And here they come. Casey comes out to get something on the board before the intermission. Fans don't like it. Casey, who missed from 50 yards just wide left early in the game.
Well, do the math. It takes you 2.5 seconds to sprint 20 yards for the average guy into the end zone, 25 yards. Then you're going to have the drop. Then you have everything else. This is the smart decision. You've got to take the points you can get them.
37 yards on the try by Casey. And Carolina punches up 3 on the scoreboard here at Bank of America Stadium with 4 seconds remaining in this half. Now the key throw there was Winky under pressure, able to get the ball to Keyshawn Johnson. Winky, who told us in our visit on Friday that he was an all-sports star up in the Twin City area, Minnesota, played hockey, in fact scored the winning goal in high school to get his team into the state playoffs. He said, I learned my toughness really from playing hockey, my patience from my 6 years in baseball, and had to apply both in that series to get Carolina in position for 3.
I guess you've got to grow up in that part of the country to appreciate his line about you always had a hockey rink if you had a shovel, because the lakes were all frozen. Lakes and ponds were all frozen over. He says, get out there with my shovel, clear it off, and skate with the guys.
Something else my old pal Al McGuire used to say, the definition of craziness. Now this is McGuire, not
right.
Me. Are guys that go ice fishing. And he said, well, put me in the category, Winky. I'd love to ice fish.
Is it really? You know, that qualifies almost as a sport. You know,
almost. What do you mean? That's a sport.
It involves fishing. A house, a heater, and alcohol. How can that be a sport? At least bowling has only got 1 of those 3.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Nevertheless, as long as we've alienated all the fans of those bowling and ice fishing, here comes Casey skidding one down the middle, and that one will roll through, and Pittsburgh will have 4 seconds to put the ball in play at the 20. Sean Morey back, allows it to trickle through the end zone. Well, Big Ben with 11 yards running and a touchdown. Carolina's team with only 8 yards rushing in this first half.
Well, somebody forgot to mention or remind Big Ben that in order to run out the clock, you got to be out there.
Big smile on his face. He laughed yesterday when we talked to him and said, you know, my high school record scoring in Findlay, Ohio, basketball has been broken by my sister Carly, and she did it the first game of her senior year. She's on her way to Oklahoma on a basketball scholarship. Well, the fans not happy here in Carolina. The Steeler fans have enjoyed this first half as Pittsburgh leaves for the intermission at 17-3 with Willie Parker leading the way, 72 yards rushing, and Roethlisberger with a touchdown pass and a touchdown run. It's clearly defined now. These two teams, at least at 6 and 7, the team that loses, it's over in terms of playoff hopes. The winner has a slight chance to move on with 2 games remaining after this one. And for Carolina, they did get 3 before the break, and let's see if that boosts their spirits. Although the fact that they didn't really hustle up to the line of scrimmage in that final sequence kind of tells you maybe there's more than disheartened attitude on the Carolina side.
You're almost thinking not make a mistake instead of attacking.
17-3 the halftime score. Back with a Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station.
Tonight.
And we're ready for the second half. 17-3 the Steelers with the lead, and this game being brought to you in high definition here on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41. A run by Roethlisberger of a yard, a 13-yard screen pass, Roethlisberger to Najee Davenport, and a field goal for the 17. 3 points for the Carolina Panthers on the final seconds of the opening half by John Casey. You saw D'Angelo Williams, who set an NCAA Division 1A receiving all-purpose record, 7,500 yards, and here he comes. Breaks into the clear and then is tripped up across the 35-yard line as he tries to give the Panthers a spark to start this second half, but a yellow flag on the turf. Let's see whether or not this one is going to be discounted. Ron Winter, the man in the white hat today.
During the return, holding number 25 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So that will push Carolina back, and Randy Cross, it just seemed here with these two teams both at 6 and 7, the spirit level of the two teams quite remarkably different. The Steelers really came to play today.
They really did, and the second half is a heart check for the Carolina Panthers for 2 reasons. One, the way they handled the clock at the end of the first half I thought was terrible clock management, and number 2, that block kick. I mean, when you have plays like that in special teams, that to me is just, that tells you there's a lapse in motivation, there's a lapse in concentration.
Handoff is on the inside to Deshaun Foster, and he's out across the 20-yard line with that first down carry. The Panthers unable to run the ball, as you can see in the first half. In fact, they had only 5 carries. And Willie Parker for the Pittsburgh Steelers working on another game in the 100s as he has surpassed his mark of last year, 1,200 yards. He's number 5 in the league coming in and trying to build upon that and get his chance shortly. Here's the handoff inside to Foster, and he's got some running room. 30. Runs through another tackle, straight arm to the 40. And finally out of bounds at midfield. Clark Hagan's got him out of bounds, but Deshaun Foster with the longest run for the Panthers in the day.
You know, inside really sprung the run. That was where the run was born. And give credit there because Foster ran over basically, you know, a defender who had his sights set on him. I mean, James Ferrier, 51, he gets blocked, but you've got the safety Anthony Smith right there. But look at the job that Steve Smith's doing out there blocking on Deshae Townsend. I mean, that is what your want to comes in. That's where your concentration level. I talked about a heart check. You don't need to check 89's heart. He's got enough for a couple bodies.
First down near midfield. Back to D'Angelo Williams, who gives Foster a blow, and with a second effort he gets at least a yard when he was stopped at the line of scrimmage. Aaron Smith and others for the Steelers.
Nothing gets a team back in you know, mentally and spirit-wise faster than a running game. I mean, obviously, a big kick return gets you all excited, but you don't truly feel like you're back. I mean, the way Foster was running, the way the offensive line was blocking, John Fox's football team, you know, at least early on in this drive, is trying to make a point to the Steelers defense.
I would imagine Fox blistered some paint off the walls of that locker room at halftime. Here comes a blitz. It's picked up. The throw. Is it good? It is called. Yes, a catch by Keyshawn Johnson. Does the ballet tip on the sidelines. Well earned, Keyshawn.
Well, you want to see the perfect pose. Before the ball's there, he's in mid-pose. Tap, tap. It looked like both those toes were there. Were both feet on the ground when he caught it. They were early. They're down. They're down. I think they were both down.
You think?
Yeah, well, it's not my challenge to make here. Great angle here.
I don't think they were.
Only 1 foot. I challenge this. And Bill Cowher just did.
There was time for his coaches upstairs to take a second look as we did. And it appeared Keyshawn missed the turf.
Field if the pass was complete.
You know, a good bird dog, Dick, will go on point for you, and he'll stay there frozen. And Keyshawn Johnson went on point, but he had to wait too long, and the points didn't stay on the ground.
Yeah.
See, now right here, you can see air underneath Keyshawn's feet as he catches the ball. So he's physically on point there. Now right there, there's only 1 foot. That would be his right foot has touched the ground. The left foot is off the ground. And I don't think that left foot ever gets a chance to drag in behind it.
Well, it was very tight, and it's a tough call for Ron Winter, who's still studying the replay. A little more time than normally allotted.
Well, remember, too, it's not only did he get 2 feet in, and that left foot does seem to be off the ground. It's also a matter of having to go back and say, okay, where were we? You know, so it's sort of part of a never mind. The end part of a never mind is where was I?
In case it is overruled, it'll be 3rd and 9.
Review, the receiver did not have 2 feet inbounds after possession. Therefore, the pass is incomplete. Makes it 3rd down on the 50-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 13:05. Pittsburgh is not charged with a timeout.
Disappointing for Keyshawn Johnson, but it appeared to be the proper call.
Well, and he had such great body position and movement before that ball got there. But the missing part was the tap-tap or the drag-drag. And it was emotionally, too. It's not so much the yards. It's that heart. It's that oomph that was going to give this offense.
Carolina hoping to get a score here early in the second half and bring life back to their opportunity and to their home fans. So now 3rd and 9 at midfield. Deshaun Foster in the backfield. Steeler defense, those linebackers creeping up on the line of scrimmage, and here they come. Picked up nicely. Not now, though. Winky's down. 5 sacks, and it's Aaron Smith who gets him. Smith, who's had a solid season, which he has produced most of his 8 years out of Northern Colorado.
You know, that was initially very good pass protection, because Chris Winky's going to drop back into the pocket, and he's going to hit back here, and he's got protection, and it looks really good. Well, the missing ingredient is somebody that's open, because he's not open, he's not open, he's not open. I mean, there's nowhere to go with the football. That's why he had to scramble out to try to make some sort of a play.
Here's Baker. Last punt was blocked, and he hits this one high. Wobbler. Santonio Holmes inside the 10 with a fair catch. Steelers will get their first opportunity in the second half. Their defense did the job and stopped Keyshawn and Carolina. There's 4 sets of 2 around Bank of America Stadium. Not a lot of bite in the Panthers on the field here in this one. Roethlisberger 17-3 with the lead. First possession, second half starts at the 10-yard line. Willie Parker might have a busy second half, and they're looking for him. A loss of a couple. Richard Marshall up from the corner to make the tackle, and here's the Steelers situation. Got to win all 3. Jags have to lose 3. Jets lose 2 out of 3. So that really a tough haul for Pittsburgh, but you know, Steeler fans remain hopeful. After all, who thought they would get into the playoffs, much less all the way to the Super Bowl title late in last season when they ran the table.
For this Carolina defense, Dick, against Pittsburgh, they've got to create a turnover somehow, some way. They need the ball back now.
Parker stopped inside, tries the left side for a couple out to the 12-yard line where Niall Diggs makes the stop.
Well, the guy for the Carolina defense that's really playing good right now, right here, Chris Jenkins. First play, he absolutely blew that play up into the backfield. He's working against Alan Faneca, and he does a wonderful job. Actually ends up being against Marvell Smith because he stunted outside. Good penetration. That always disrupts a running play.
From the 12-yard line, Roethlisberger shifts Davenport into the backfield with him on the shotgun. Quick throw over the middle, complete to Holmes. He drags a tackler to the 20 and has the first down. Ken Lucas had him before the marker, but Holmes showing his strength, and he's done that on a couple of occasions. Remember the play on the goal line.
That's not real complicated. It's a good blitz read, good body position by Santonio Holmes, but from then on it's want to. That's all will. That's all heart. That's all not letting the other guy. That's inflicting your will on the other player. You were not going to be denied a first down if you were Santonio Holmes.
And Lucas, the veteran corner, had him at the 17. Holmes only 189 pounds. Parker back in. First down at the 21. Blitz from the corner. But Parker eludes that and then meets a stiff hit at the 24-yard line as the hole filled by middle backer Chris Draft.
How did Lucas miss Willie Parker? He looked like he was going to have a running start and shot into the backfield and for a tackle for about a 2-yard loss, and Willie Parker just wasn't there.
Lucas flying in from the top of your screen from the right corner. They welcomed him back. He was sidelined last week with an injury. Carolina hit with 3 cornerbacks out with injuries last week against the Giants, and it cost him. Parker again hitting the backfield, shreds that one. Then the second wave gets him at the 27-yard line as Thomas Davis, the second-year backer out of Georgia, makes the tackle.
You know, Dick, doing what we do, you've got to give credit where credit is due. And early on, Julius Peppers in this defensive line was bringing a little bit of heat, but he's seen a lot of attention. Max Starks has been in his grill most of the day. Then it was Tooman. Then it's been Miller. A little frustration on that late hit by Ben Roethlisberger, and he's kind of embodied this defense that has frankly kind of underachieved against the Steelers today.
Third down and 4. Najee Davenport, who has worked a couple of excellent screens in this formation. Roethlisberger hit in the backfield, gets away, throws wide open upfield. Is Heath Miller, the tight end, and a first down at the 47. Mike Minter made the tackle, and credit a lot of that play to Roethlisberger's escapability. 20-yard play.
And he's escaping Julius Peppers, who lines up as the right defensive tackle working against Alan Faneca. Gives him a little slap move, comes around, and he's got clearly Ben Roethlisberger dead to rights. And Ben doesn't scramble as much as he kind of scooches out of the way, and that's a great example of you don't have to run 10 yards to get away from a rush. Sometimes you only have to get away 2 feet.
Peppers leads Carolina with 11 sacks, but he's been shut out for 4 straight games. Parker caught in the backfield, tries to use his speed to get outside. Ooh, as he hit at the 45-yard line, bounced out of bounds. Minter came up from the secondary along with Marshall. Steelers and the Panthers both at 6 and 7. 2 touchdowns for Pittsburgh, one on Roethlisberger's scramble around the right side from 1 yard out, and then a screen pass to Davenport, good for 13. That combined with a field goal by Reed of 19 yards for a 17-0 lead, and then John Casey at the end of the first half connected with a field goal for Carolina to make it 17-3. Oops. Roethlisberger slips, plants, throws, complete, Hines Ward. 35 in front of Sean Williams.
Okay.
Does Ward have fun playing this game?
No one has more fun, plays harder, and probably plays with a bigger smile on his face. And hey, Dick, whoever said this is a game of impeccable timing? Because timing-wise, you'd say that play doesn't work. Ben Roethlisberger almost falls down. The protection's okay, but it was because of Hines Ward and the way he was working that play worked.
21 yards to Hines Ward. He's one of the players in this league. If I in town know he's going to be on the field, I want to see him. Don't even watch the ball. Watch him. Every play, he does something good. Whether it's catching the ball, blocking it, although on that occasion he got caught. Come on, Hines. I'm trying to give you the whole package here, and you became, well, it was a good spectator.
Well, and really keep in mind what this offense is doing right now to this Carolina football team. You had a drive the last time, the play by Keyshawn, it was called back, and the drive was halted. Pittsburgh gets the ball back deep, and now suddenly this offense is just methodically moving the ball down the field on Carolina. Right now, they're in field goal range.
Chewing up the clock. 6:08, 6:10 now on this drive. And second down, Parker behind Roethlisberger. He tries that left side and meets good resistance defensively. Damian Lewis, who was a #1 pick by the St. Louis Rams 5 years ago, their 12th selection, and struggled in St. Louis, never lived up to his high reputation. It was a quiet, unrestricted free agent pickup by Carolina, and he's produced 4.5 sacks, a forced fumble, 10 quarterback hurries, and under the radar has done a solid job.
Sometimes you can do a lot better when you have reduced expectations.
3rd and 5. Carolina fans want to stop. A lot of turtle towels trying to wave Pittsburgh to more. The shovel pass to Davenport, and a good open field tackle to deny that first down. That was Al Wallace, who took his 275 pounds into the 250-pound Davenport and stopped him cold.
Well, Al Wallace actually was getting ready to drop. It was being blocked pretty good by Holmes. And man, does he come up and put the physical hammer to Najee Davenport, because the way Davenport's been running, Dick, you expected him to kind of burst through and get that first down.
So Reed on for a 45-yard field goal attempt. Kicked a very short one, 19 yards in the first half. And that one is almost dead center with plenty of length. 4:40 left in the third. The Steelers built their lead to 17.
What is your
CBS? 20-3, Steelers lead. Reed kicking it off to D'Angelo Williams. Williams, one of only 4 men in NCAA 1A history to rush for 6,000 yards in a career, is down before he can make it to the 20-yard line. Covered by James Harrison, the man who blocked the punt. Timeout.
Is sponsored by Best Buy. Wrap up the wow this holiday season only at Best Buy. And by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Four and a half minutes left in the third period, and a lot of happy action on the Steelers sidelines. Well, they should be pleased with a 20-3 lead. 17-yard line to start for Carolina. Winky is actually 15 for 20. Most of those little underneath passes, but 140 yards. But he's been harassed, and this pass way off the mark, intended for Steve Smith, who again earned double coverage.
And it's been more than harassment for Chris Winky. It's been a beating, because they not only have got there early, they've gotten there late. They've done a nice job down the field of protecting and making them stay in the pocket, and they've collapsed the pocket on them on numerous occasions. And that's the best way to stop Steve Smith, is he can't throw the ball to himself.
5 sacks, the block punt by special teams, a couple of field goals. On 2nd and 10. Throws that one away. Did have Steve Smith in the area, so no flag. And again, here comes James Ferrier to put his helmet right in the face of the quarterback Winky.
Well, and it's been done in such a way too, is Dick LeBeau has done a wonderful job of timing his calls. Not only by calls, but the players executing wise have timed their blitzes perfectly, whether it's been Ferrier coming from on the blitz for Dick LeBeau or whoever. It's been Foot on occasion. Sometimes it's been Porter. Sometimes it's been Aaron Smith.
And let's see how they set up here with Joey Porter easing up on the line of scrimmage. Bottom of your picture on the line of scrimmage. And here he comes on 3rd and 10. Throw underneath to D'Angelo Williams. Ducks by 1. Gets to the 20. Dives out across the 25. But looks to be just shy of the first down. And so out comes the punt team.
Yeah, there's a time to be safe and there's a time to take chances. This is a time to take chances for John Fox's offense. You know, the dump off to avoid a mistake, and you know, Dan Henning can only call them. He can't execute them. And you've got to be willing to try to fit a ball down the field in this circumstance. You've got to make something happen.
4th and 2, and the punt by Baker. Holmes at the 25. Tripped up at the 33. Carl Hankton and Jason Kyle in on the tackle. And welcome back to Charlotte. There's young Andrew Sanders from Blue Ridge Summit, Pennsylvania. He's here on a Make-A-Wish opportunity, and is he enjoying himself? Except that his team, Carolina, not producing any points. Roethlisberger pump fake and going for a big one. He's got a man sprinting open. Hines Ward, incomplete. Ball hanging, and it allowed coverage to come over and deny, although Ward felt he should have had it.
Well, at least Ward's got a chance to add a long ball, and like, you know, Sanders, the young Make-A-Wish gentleman, you know, his favorite player is Steve Smith. Steve Smith hasn't had a chance to catch one of these things down the field.
Ben puts that on his own shoulders. Felt he put a little too much air under that long pass.
See, so when you're having fun and laughing on the sideline, like we showed earlier, there's a little strategy involved sometime in that laughing and having fun.
2nd down and 10. Does Ward ever not smile? Toss to Parker. Tripped up just as he hit the corner at the 33-yard line.
Well, James Sanders has been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer and is currently undergoing chemo treatments, but Steve Smith is his idol. He's the guy. He made his wish to come see Steve. He got to meet Ben Roethlisberger. He's been here all weekend, and a fine young gentleman. Got to talk to him yesterday during the Panthers practice, and just having a great time here.
Good time of the year for all of us to think about how we can make some charitable wishes come true. 3rd down and 9. Deep down the middle and complete at the 47-yard line. A strike to Nate Washington. Washington, who had a touchdown catch in the last Steeler win against Cleveland.
Hey, Dick, did you see Nate Washington catch this thing? And watch what he wants to do. It almost looks like he wants to lateral it back to Heath Miller, because he's in the grasp right here. He's looking back at Miller like, come on over here. But he can't get Marshall's hands off the ball.
Richard Marshall denying, and Roethlisberger gets rolled into by Julius Peppers and comes up a little hoppy.
It was low, but it was a good non-call too. We've seen less than that get called for hitting the quarterback low.
1st down near midfield for the Steelers. Here comes Parker. Fast Willie. Able to struggle into Carolina territory to the 49. Al Wallace tripped him up.
That was a nice job. You see, Julius Peppers knew he was going to come in low. He literally just threw his body down and stopped himself before he'd get into the legs of Ben Roethlisberger, because these defensive linemen, defensive players in general, are extremely well aware that if you don't hit a guy between his belt and his numbers, and he's a quarterback, you're risking a 15-yard penalty.
2nd down and 7 with Hines Ward in motion. Parker weaving his way inside the 45 to the 43 or 2, close to a 1st down. Action continues elsewhere around the NFL. Here's JB.
Hey, Dick, can you believe it? Only 90 total yards of offense for Tennessee, but this is how they've scored. Take a look at David Garrard, looking, tosses his 2nd pick of the day, picked off by Chris Hope. He returns it 61 yards for the score. 3 defensive scores for Tennessee. They're up 24-10. Back to Dick Enberg. Randy Cross.
What a turnaround for Jeff Fisher's Titans. Early in the year, Everyone licking their chops to play the Titans and beating them up, and now they've turned the tables. Here's on a short yardage, Roethlisberger sneaking up behind the wedge, and he has the first down at the 41-yard line.
And that team in Tennessee has caught fire in an interesting way, because from the outside in, if you saw that score, you'd go, oh, that Vince Young, he must be lighting them up again. Off to such a great start. I believe he's 6-2 in the last 8 weeks as a starter. But it's that defense. Pac-Man Jones got a touchdown on an interception too, and that's been the difference in this game for Bill Cowher, has been his defense. As well as this offense is executed, the defense has absolutely strangled Carolina's offense.
And choking the clock against Carolina as we're down to the final seconds here in the third period. First down, Parker. Got some room now. Fast Willie looking for the end zone. He found it. 41 yards for Willie Parker as he jumps over the century mark again.
What I say about his speed? About 3/4 at the defensive line and linebackers, but if you let him get to the DBs, that's when he hits the warp engines and says, see you later, bye. Remember the end of the Star Trek teaser when it was a TV series? There's a little bolt of light and the ship just disappeared. That's what Willie looks like to a defense once he hits full speed.
Boy, he does have the afterburners. It's like the Christmas tree lights, you know, red, 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 and then green. Reed to try the extra point. And the Pittsburgh Steelers in the final seconds of this third quarter have vaulted into a 28-3, like that 27-3 advantage over the Carolina Panthers, and a 41-yard touchdown run for Parker, who now has 132 in the game.
Heath Miller at the tight end, 83, and Alan Faneca, the left guard. Faneca's an all-pro, and Heath Miller does an all-pro effort as a young tight end, opening that hole. But look at the body position and the body and the back angle. You hear about keeping your back flat. Look how that angle of Faneca's body perfectly isolates the defender and opens up that hole. And there is not a chance in the world Mike Minner, Thomas Davis, or anybody chasing Willie Parker once he breaks the linebackers is going to catch him.
And don't you think Willie Parker just loves this hole running to daylight? Here's a kid that only started 5 games in his entire career at North Carolina. He was forgotten by the Tar Heels. No one drafted him. He gained only 181 yards his senior year with a measly 3.8 average. But Dan Rooney Jr., well-stored report on Parker, and he was coaching high school ball, told his dad, you better take a look at him, and they tried him out as a free agent. What a gift from North Carolina to Pittsburgh, Willie Parker.
What did he tell us last night? I asked him, hey, Willie, how's that speed holding up? Well, let me get in the open and you'll see. Looks like he's holding it pretty well.
Yeah, no argument there either. Here comes D'Angelo Williams. Stutter steps and then is down just shy of the 20-yard line. As we approach the end of the third quarter, 8 seconds left. Next Sunday, NFL doubleheader, folks. Playoff implications. Patriots and Jaguars, Ravens and Steelers. Then game 2, Bengals battle the Broncos. And we'll be out to see the first place Chargers meet the first place Seahawks. Check local listings beginning at noon Eastern with JB and company on the NFL Today.
You know, between Bettis and Franco Harris and the great running tradition of these Steelers, it's amazing. He's already done some things besides a single season rushing record, but a couple 200-yard games. I always thought those other guys did that all the time for the Steelers running game.
He's now over 1,300 yards on the season with 2 games to play. Winky, shirt tail down. Does he get rid of it? I believe they blew the whistle on it, or are they going to allow the incomplete pass?
Incomplete.
Yeah, he got away with the sack as he was being dragged down by Brett Kiesel. Already has a sack and a half.
Well, Brett Kiesel had about as much without having the whole body as you can get. Watch the back of the shirt. I mean, he's in the process of going down. That's a nice job of getting rid of that things, but you know, look at the face on Winky there. You pay the price when you hold it that long.
2 seconds to go in the quarter. Second down and 10. Oh, nothing there at all for Deshaun Foster, as the hole was not even there. End of 3. It's Pittsburgh leading 27-3. We'll return after this message. A word from your local station. On to the fourth quarter we go. The Steelers dominating 27-3. And more bad news for Carolina. Drew Carter, who had his best game, the third-year receiver out of Ohio State last week, with 8 catches, 144 yards and a touchdown, has rolled an ankle and will not return. Winky being chased. Now he's able to throw it away. Did he get it beyond the line of scrimmage? Yes. Barely.
Well, at least for today, Dick, you know, the pressure this defense has put on, you know, whether it's been Kiesel or one of the linebackers, has been very impressive. But Kiesel's a guy, remember, he replaced Kimo von Oelhoffen, who was here on the Super Bowl team, and he's done a heck of a job being the other end on the other side from Smith.
And the man pressuring Winky there was the cornerback Deshae Townsend, who has 15.5 career sacks as a cornerback. So he's a big part of that Blitzburg package. Baker's punt, flag down. Fumbled by Holmes. Free ball. Carolina may finally have a takeaway. They do.
I think the penalty is going to be against Pittsburgh. Little double team holding on the gunner trying to get downfield.
Jason Kyle able to recover the ball.
So that's either going to be holding or maybe even a face mask against the Carolina gunner. But I really think it looked like in the double team he was being held.
Number 27 of the kicking team ran out of bounds without being touched. It's an illegal procedure on the kicking team. A 5-yard penalty at the previous spot. Repeat, 4th down.
Is that a killer? I mean, that's right there with the Keyshawn out of bounds catch, or the not getting 2 feet down.
You recover a fumble, but on a illegal procedure penalty, you lose that ball and are penalized 5.
See, never touched right here, and he just goes out of bounds. And it was called against number 26, but I believe it was not Deshaun Foster out there as the gunner. So
Dion Bynum maybe a cornerback. So they'll kick it again, and the Steelers come up with a break there after Holmes had muffed the punt. Beautiful kick by Baker. Holmes will try to latch onto this one and does it to 35, 40, 45. Wouldn't you figure this? Going to go all the way, isn't he? Unless the kicker can get him. Casey, he can't, or Baker, he can't. And Holmes goes from muffing a punt to turning one for a touchdown. Oh my. 65 yards.
sometimes, Dick, it's about the coverage team getting out of position, and other times it's just about a guy like Holmes taking the ball straight up the field and having the guts to risk getting the big hit. The Gunners went high and went by Santonio Holmes, and he just gets some excellent blocks inside. Casey can't get a sniff.
Baker, actually, the punter, yeah.
Or Baker, yeah, he can't get a sniff. And no, that was just an excellent job of tight-roping down the sideline at the end. Almost went out of bounds there about the 12-yard line.
Reed for the point after. So what a turnabout. Carolina's fans with so little hope finally get something to cheer about. They've got the ball.
All right, we will keep you updated on that Pittsburgh-Carolina contest, but we're going to take you to a more competitive contest, Jacksonville at Tennessee. 24-10 in the fourth quarter. Let's join Gus Johnson and Steve Tasker.
And welcome to Nashville, Tennessee. They call this city the Music City. And this game has been a terrific one so far for the Tennessee Titans. They have returned 3 for touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 1 fumble. The Jaguars have controlled this game, leading in every offensive category except the score. 24-10. Back after this. 24-10, Tennessee on top of Jacksonville. Here in the fourth quarter, Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker, but the Jaguars are driving 1st and 10 at the Tennessee 34. They hand it off. Maurice Jones-Drew, the impressive rookie out of UCLA, who's closing in on 100 yards. He gets close to the 30-yard line. A 3-yard gain. Maurice Jones-Drew, one of the favorites for Rookie of the Year, along with Vince Young. As you check out the statistics, but Steve, the statistics don't mean anything in this game.
No, they don't. The mistakes that Jaguars have made have cost them every point that the Titans have.
2nd and 7 at the 31-yard line. High formation. Garrard dropping back. Under pressure. Throws on the run. Incomplete. Flag on the play. Looks like a holding penalty is coming up.
Holding. Offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. Just second down.
Dennis Norman was playing right tackle there. He had to come in because the regular left right tackle, Maurice Williams, cramped up on the last drive. You see there, he'll go out.
Jack Del Rio, the head coach in his 4th season in Jacksonville. His team is hot. They've won 2 straight football games, most recently a 44-17 demolition of Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts last week. His starting quarterback is David Garrard. He replaced Byron Leftwich, the regular starter, week 8, after he injured his ankle. He's gone for the season. He's had surgery already. Garrard is 5-2 as a starter. 2nd and 17 at the 41. Garrard, draw play. Jones-Drew. And Maurice Jones-Drew goes down at the 36. Lamont Thompson with the tackle, a 5-yard pickup. So with 10 minutes and 28 seconds, big down coming up for Jacksonville.
I'll tell you what, Gus, a lot was said coming into this game about Vince Young and the offense of Tennessee coming back in 3 straight games. They have not been on the field almost at all in the second half. They've had 3 offensive plays in the second half, and as you saw a moment ago, Jacksonville has run 30 plays offensively, and offense hasn't even stepped on the field. Vince Young's over there fresh as a daisy.
And he's also trying to get his teammates in this crowd into it. 3rd and 12 of the 36. Garrard drops back, dances out of the pocket, looking, reverses his field, throws in the corner. Williams! Oh, he's got it at the 5. What a play! David Garrard throwing late across the field, and Reggie Williams has a first down, gain of 30.
Well, this is what we've seen the entire game. For those of you who have just joined us, David Garrard has been able to extend plays. He's done it on a number of occasions, tucked the ball, thought about running, and then late saw Williams come open. Chris Hope just couldn't get there in time. Actually got a hand on the pass, and Williams still pulls it in. Jacksonville continues to dominate offensively.
First down and goal at the 6. Out of the eye, Tofield, they give it to him. Tofield lowers his shoulders and goes down at the 1-yard line. Lamont Thompson with the tackle. This game very important for both teams. Right now, Jacksonville and Cincinnati holding on to the wild card spot. Behind them, 3, 7, and 6 teams all on the road, and you have Tennessee at 6 and 7.
Still not mathematically eliminated. There are only 3 teams in the conference that are out of it. Houston, Cleveland, and Oakland. Everybody else is still playing for something.
2nd down and goal at the 1. Winbush, Tofield, line up in the eye. Garrard throws it. Wow, what a catch. Lewis, the rookie, out of UCLA, their first-round pick, goes up high and snatches down a rebound.
We just showed you a moment ago how tall all their receivers are, and this is a testament to it. Watch as he kicks the outside over the top of a linebacker, pulls it in one-handed. Whoa, I don't know if he's got control of that. That ball's down on his hip when it comes in, and Jeff Fisher has thrown the challenge flag, and I think it's a good one. Watch, does he have it? Does he make a football move? Doesn't have it. His foot's down. That ball, no, I don't know. The referee is looking right at it, and we'll have to see exactly what Mike Carey is going to talk to this about.
So Jeff Fisher challenging the touchdown. Titans leading 24-16. Welcome back, 24-16. Tennessee with the lead, and let's take a look at how the Titans took the lead, and they took it by playing great defense. First, it was Pac-Man Jones, 83-yard interception returned for a touchdown. And then Cortland Finnegan returned a fumble, 92 yards. He's a nickelback in the secondary. And Chris Hope intercepted Garrard again, returned this one 61 yards for a touchdown to make it 24-10. And that's where we are right now. David Garrard has struggled at times in this game.
And you got to think, if you're Jacksonville, you're the one, man, we're playing great. We've got 331 total yards. Tennessee only has 90 yards offensively, and yet look at, we're trailing.
So we will see if the touchdown stands.
After reviewing the play, the receiver did not have control with 2 feet down. Incomplete pass, 3rd and 1 from the 1. Tennessee will not be charged with a team timeout.
And you see there, as we said, the ball comes down on his Hope. And a lot of people will say, well, golly, they're on the 1-yard line anyway. But there's a lot of things that the Titans get out of this. First of all, 8.5 minutes to go. They have to run another play to get it in. And I'll tell you what, every defensive coordinator in the league will say, give me a shot at stopping them, and I'll stop them. And Jeff Fisher is a defensive head coach. He just wants the chance. Even though they've got 2 downs left.
3rd down goal at the 1. Is this 4-down territory for them?
Oh, no question. It is 4-down territory. They've got to go for the touchdown. And Tennessee knows it. Like we said, Gus, we saw it a moment ago. They may throw it up for grabs to those tall wideouts. They've got the advantage.
The running game has been very effective today, though, for Jacksonville. 182 rushing yards to only 13 for Tennessee. So 3rd down and goal at the 1. 14th play of the drive that started at the Jacksonville 28-yard line. Jaguars showing a lot of fight, even though they've made numerous mistakes this afternoon. So they break the huddle. Maurice Jones-Drew is the deep man. Wimbush, the fullback. They give it to the rookie, and he will not get in. So that brings up 4th down and goal. Wow. Big call for Jack Del Rio.
Well, their run game has gashed the Titans at times right up inside, and what a great play by Bullock, stepping right up into the hole. And a lot of things happen, Gus. Now it's going to be under 8 minutes to go when this play is over. And when this game comes down to the end, time is going to be a factor.
4th down and goal. They spread the field. Jones-Drew, the single setback. 3-receiver package. Remember, Garrard has great legs. They throw it up for Jones in the corner. Incomplete. Guess who broke it up? The Pac-Man.
The jump ball, they went to it again, Gus, and they can't pull it down. It's coming right into your end zone, right into your picture. No chance. A moment ago, this is the jump ball. David Garrard trying to find Matt Jones, and Pac-Man Jones gets his hand right in the play.
So the Titans take over 1st and 10 at their own 1. Vince Young with the quarterback sneak to give this Titans offense a little bit of breathing room. And that was their first offensive play since 13:24 remained in the 3rd quarter.
Their 4th offensive play of this half. That's a little time of possession problem there, Gus.
But this offense has really struggled. They need to put together some 1st downs.
Well, they have a chance to really put this game away if they can move the football.
2nd down and 9 at the 2. Hall and Henry line up in the I formation in the backfield. Henry, 2nd man through with running room. Breaks it outside, picks up the 1st down, keeps his feet moving. Smash mouth football. The Tennessee Titans. So let's take a look at what's at stake in this game. Both these teams need wins. Cincinnati, Jacksonville, hanging on to the wild card spot, partner.
Yep, there you see him up at the top. And then these 3 teams all on the road today. And then Tennessee down here with a group of other teams. and Buffalo beating Miami. Miami will be out of it. And you know it, Gus. If you have 8 losses in the AFC this year, you're completely out of it.
Jets are winning. Buffalo's winning against Miami at home.
Pittsburgh is beating Carolina.
Next week, Tennessee is at Buffalo. First down and 10 at the 18. Inside handoff, Travis Henry.
I'll tell you, Gus, we watched this game, and a lot's been said about the Titans. They've had to come back and win games, and now they're getting to do it a different way. Now they've got to hang on to a lead. They can't allow a Jacksonville team that's dominated back on the football field. Vince Young, Travis Henry are going to have a chance to put a game away rather than frantically trying to come back.
So here comes Vince Young. Faced with a 2nd and 7 at the 21-yard line. Travis Henry lines up in the backfield. Young, broken play. Breaks a tackle and gets down. Inbounds. Clock keeps running.
And it looks as though he's got enough for a first down as well. And this is a sharp play. This is a broken play. Vince Young was looking for Travis Henry to hand that football off to, and had nobody, there was nobody home. Travis Henry went the other way, and Vince Young just ran the football where Travis Henry should have. Don't know which one was right, which one was wrong, but it turned out okay for Tennessee.
First down and 10 now at the 29. Approaching the 5-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Henry. And Travis Henry wrapped up at the 31 by Paul Spicer.
Yeah, and now it's starting to be a factor. Jack Del Rio taking a timeout to stop the clock. He looks up and knows with 2 touchdowns to make up, 4 minutes and 48 seconds may not be enough.
And Titans with the football on 2nd and 8 at their own 31. Travis Henry. And Henry mowed down by Spicer and Darrell Smith. A 1-yard gain. And what a great crowd here in Nashville. This is their 82nd consecutive sellout. 69,143 in attendance. And they've seen a terrific game, especially on defense. Pac-Man Jones got it all started with that 83-yard interception return for a TD.
And that's not all he's done. It started, you're right, first quarter, Jacksonville driving, makes the play that turns the game around, gives Tennessee a lead. Then catching a pass that keeps the drive alive for Tennessee, and then this return on an opening kickoff of the second half set Tennessee up for their field goal. And then, of course, the play we all just saw a moment ago, the pass breakup. Pac-Man Jones has been crucial for Tennessee today. You got to tip your hat to him making plays.
All right, fans, and don't forget tonight on CBS, it's a Survivor Sunday after 60 minutes. The final challenges, the final vote, and the final twists that will make the Survivor finale unlike any other, followed by the live reunion tonight on CBS, America's #1 network. 3rd down and 7. Young spins out of the pocket. Young in trouble. Young goes down at the 10-yard line. So with 4:34 left, it's a loss of 22 yards, and the Titans will punt it away.
And that was a bad play by Vince Young. And this is an offense that has done nothing all day. This was probably as many yards they've gotten offensively, and he gave them back 22 yards of it. They had 90 yards on the day coming into this drive. And all they really were trying to do at this point is run the clock.
Jacksonville called a timeout. So with 4:34 left, the Jaguars will get the ball back, and they are out of timeouts. Tennessee has 3 remaining. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Dan Shannon, and Boomer for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker from the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. David Garrard, Vince Young, very similar in styles. Both love to run it and can make passes when they need to.
Jacksonville came in after rushing for 375 yards last week. They've been hard on the run game today, but that's out the window now. With 4:34, they're going to have to air it out.
Titans have won 4 straight games, 3 of them in dramatic fashion, having to come back. But right now, Hendrick punting out of his own end zone. Rasheed Mathis is back deep, and Hendrick gets off a beauty. He sends away a missile. Mathis from the 31. Mathis down the sideline, and he's wrapped up at the 41. Special teams tackle made by Ahmad Hall. A 57-yard punt and a 10-yard return.
Had to have it. Special teams for Tennessee has been great today with the return game and the coverage. You see here, getting down. Mathis trying to make something happen. Dangerous guy with the ball in his hands, but now Jacksonville with 59 yards to go for a touchdown, needing to score twice
with no timeouts
to tie it up with no timeouts.
1st and 10 at the 41. They rise to their feet again here in Tennessee. Garrard with time sets up a screen. Jones-Drew with a running lead. Look at this rookie. Jones-Drew down at the 21. Thompson with the saving tackle. A 38-yard gain. And I don't understand how 32 teams passed on this kid as he limps off the field.
The play is made, and you're watching. It's obvious when he gets the ball in his hands, this guy's got another gear. As he turns it up, finds the gap, and shifts it in.
Garrard out of the shotgun to the far side. Incomplete. Intended for Lewis, the rookie tight end, who's developing into a fine young football player. But he dropped that one.
3:43 left in the game. The play and there's Jones-Drew on the sideline getting fixed up. Fred Taylor, the great running back for Jacksonville, left the game early on with a hamstring injury. Jones-Drew has carried the load all day for Jacksonville. He's been spelled by LeBrandon Tofield, and also now Alvin Pearman is in the game.
2nd and 10 at the 22. Garrard. David Garrard breaks the tackle. Rolls. Decides to tuck it. Garrard. He's got heart. Garrard down at the 3-yard line. What a rumble for the young man out of East Carolina. Lamont Thompson, another saving tackle, a gain of 20.
David Garrard pulling a Vince Young.
And quickly, Jacksonville gets to the line of scrimmage. They're in the no huddle. Garrard out of the shotgun. He may run this one. No, Pearman. And Pearman goes down. Albert Haynesworth with the tackle. 2:54 and counting remaining in the 4th quarter. The Titans lead it 24-10. They've returned 3 for touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 1 fumble. But the Jaguars won't quit. Jones in the corner. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Matt Jones using his 6'6" frame to go over Ronaldo Hill, and the Jaguars are within a touchdown.
Jacksonville has tried this play all day. They've got huge wide receivers. They throw it up for grabs, and this time it works. They've had one that was reviewed and disallowed. This one counts. And Jacksonville, who has absolutely dominated this game offensively, finally hits pay dirt to get it to a touchdown difference.
So big Matt Jones, who played quarterback in college at Arkansas, with the touchdown. The extra point is good. And with 2:37 to play in the 4th, we have a 24-17 game. And Steve, we talked about at the top of our broadcast how important of a game this is for both teams.
No question. Jacksonville in the thick of the wild card. In fact, they're one of the top 2 teams, themselves and Cincinnati, for the wild card spot in the AFC. They needed to come in and get a win to solidify their playoff position. They've overcome 15 players on their roster going on injured reserve. Fred Taylor left this game early with a hamstring. They've had complete control offensively of this game, but Tennessee taking advantage of a fumble and 2 interceptions. All 3 returned for touchdowns have been the difference in this game. Otherwise, Jacksonville wins it in a runaway. And now with just 2:37 left, they still trail by a touchdown.
So what do you do here? You were a 7-time Pro Bowler on special teams. The situation, 2:37 to play. No timeouts for the Jags. Are they going to try an onside kick?
I think you do, because you know Tennessee has not done anything offensively. You can stop them anywhere on the field. Take the chance, give up the field position, get the ball.
There's the onside kick, and it's fielded easily by the Titans. So a look at the scoring summary. Pac-Man Jones got him on the board first. 83-yard interception return for a touchdown. Then Jones drew with a 12-yard run on the following drive. Cortland Finnegan returned one 92 yards. A fumble return. Chris Hope a 61-yard interception return. 24-10. And then Matt Jones with the touchdown in the corner, 24-17. So the Titans have it at the 43. First down and 10. They run it. Henry. 2:30 to play in the fourth quarter. What a game it's been. The Tennessee Titans have returned 3 for touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble. David Garrard, the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has struggled at times, but he keeps fighting, and we have a 1-touchdown game.
Jacksonville with no timeouts left. They've tried to stop the clock. Tennessee will let it go to the 2-minute warning. And if Tennessee can get 1 first down, they can win this football game. But that's a first down that they have had trouble getting.
2 minutes to play. Back to Nashville right after this. All right, a look at the AFC wildcard standings. Cincinnati and Jacksonville holding on to the wildcard spot. Cincy is at Indy on Monday. Jets leading at Minnesota. Kansas City taking on San Diego tonight. Denver at Arizona on our air at 4 o'clock. 2nd and 8 from the 40. Vince Young in trouble, breaks the tackle and goes down behind the line of scrimmage. 150 and counting. No timeouts for Jacksonville. That's a loss of 4.
And this is where Jacksonville very disciplined, knowing that Tennessee is not going to put this football in the air. If they can get a first down, the game is over. They'll be able to run out the clock by kneeling down. As it is now, this play will probably get off with about 1:10 left in the game, which means if they can run the clock down, depending on how long the play lasts, Jacksonville will get the ball back with 20 seconds or so on the game clock. And Tennessee will take a timeout here with about no time left on that play clock, and there you have it.
2 timeouts remaining now for the Titans. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame report.
You know, Vince Young in the last 3 weeks has brought his club back from deficits in the fourth quarter to win games. Now he's got to protect a lead. And all they really needed was a first down, but they have not been able to do anything offensively all day. You see there, less than 100 yards offense on the day for Tennessee.
As Young trots back onto the field, rather.
There's Maurice Jones-Drew taking over for Fred Taylor today, playing an outstanding football game, carrying the load in the backfield for Jacksonville, a game in which their offense has been great at times, but with 3 mistakes, they may give this game away.
Titans 0 for 7 on 3rd down conversions. They're faced with a 3rd and 12. Here comes a blitz. Young throws it. Incomplete. Wow, why do you do that, Steve?
That's a mistake.
1:07 left. The clock stops. And Jacksonville will have a golden opportunity. Jeff Fisher gambling, and this one may burn him.
You do not throw the football. Even if you take the sack, the clock will only stop until they reset the football. See, you can tell Jeff, he said not to throw it. Jeff Fisher doing all he can to control his emotions. That is an enormous mistake that may haunt Tennessee.
Pearman back deep for Jacksonville. Low snap handle. This one popped wobbly high in the air, and it's fair caught at the 10-yard line with 1:01 to go. A 34-yard punt. 24-17 the score.
And the reason there's a minute left, I said a moment ago they'd get it back with about 20 seconds left. Well, the 40-second difference between that is the play clock that would have run down had Vince Young not thrown that pass. 40 seconds out of 60 would have been gone.
Jaguars need a miracle. 1:01 to play in the fourth. They're down by 7 with no timeouts. At the 11-yard line, David Garrard starts in the shotgun. Garrard with time, goes up top, incomplete. Mercedes Lewis, the intended receiver, and he got whacked by Lamont Thompson.
The clock stops. The clock stopped on the incompletion a moment ago. Jacksonville, who have dominated offensively, 2nd and 10 in their own end. They've got to get a touchdown to tie it up, but Tennessee has not been able to stop them all day.
2nd and 10 at the 11. Garrard to the sideline. Reister with the catch, and he gets out of bounds. George Reister, folks, continues to play well for Jacksonville. Pac-Man Jones ushers him out of bounds.
And a moment ago, with just a minute on the clock, Vince Young, instead of eating the ball, taking the sack, keeping the clock running, throws an incomplete pass with a minute to go that forces the punt by Tennessee with a full minute left for Jacksonville to come back.
Garrard has to use all of his weapons as you take a look at the summary. 3rd down and 3 at the 18. His tight ends have played well. Reister and Lewis, 89 and 87. Garrard down the middle, picked off! Ronaldo Hill, and that'll do it.
Gus, the 4th turnover of the day for Jacksonville ends the game. On a day when the Tennessee Titans had less than 100 yards of offense, their defense scores 21 points, gets 4 turnovers, and sets up a field goal to give Tennessee the victory.
Vincent Fuller breaking that one up at the last moment. 2nd-year man out of Virginia Tech. So the Tennessee Titans will take a knee. Jacksonville can't stop the clock. The last time these two teams met, Jacksonville won at 37-7. But Vince Young takes a knee, and Jeff Fisher and the Titans continue to roll. They've won 5 in a row now, and will head to Buffalo next week to take on the 7-7 Buffalo Bills. Jacksonville falls to 8-6. 24-17 the final. Titans win it. For Steve Tasker, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from the Music City. Now let's go to New York and James Brown.
All right, so Tennessee moves to 500 for the first time this season. Let's now take you to another contest involving the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings. 1:31 left in regulation. Let's join Greg Gumbel and Dan Deerdorf.
Welcome to those of you joining us here at the Metrodome. 1:31 to play in the 4th quarter. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. The New York Jets have turned in a convincing offensive display led by Chad Pennington today and lead the Vikings 26-13. I think convincing is a good way to put it, Dan.
Convincing in every shape, manner, or form, especially considering that Minnesota forced a Pennington fumble and on their opening drive of the game took a 7-0 lead.
Tavares Jackson, the rookie, has replaced Brad Johnson, the veteran, at quarterback. And Jackson to Moore here across the 30 to the 31.
First down at the 32.
That's a first down, and now the Vikings are in hurry up. A minute 15 to play. There's Brad Johnson on the sideline. Tavares Jackson going to take off and get nowhere. And once again, Dwayne Robertson, as he has been much of the day, right in the middle of the play for the Jet defense.
Second and 9.
And again, keep in mind, this Jets team was 4-12 a year ago. It's pretty hard to pat Eric Mangini on the back enough for how competitive he's got this team now.
Jackson with time. Now going to run. And runs for a first down across the 40 to the 43. A reminder, coming up, the Subway postgame show. JB, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Subway postgame show. Last 25 seconds. Minnesota out of timeouts. Jackson with the short pass, and Jermaine Wiggins across midfield and into Jet territory for another first down. But the clock continues to tick. And Jackson spikes the ball with 8 seconds to play.
Well, I think we're looking at the Vikings quarterback of the future, and you don't want to drop it all on the shoulders of Brad Johnson, but this moment was going to come sooner or later where Tavares Jackson became the man in Minnesota, and I think we're going to look at today and say that the era officially starts now.
Well, it was popular when he entered the game today, popular with the fans.
Right. And Brad's age works against him. He's 38 years old. It's his 15th year in the league, and he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but he's not going to be the Vikings quarterback 3 or 4 years from now. So if you're going to make the change, make the change.
The Jets used their last timeout.
30-second timeout.
And yet, with a loss here, the Vikings still mathematically alive in the NFC. The New York Jets very much alive in the AFC for the wild card.
And they get to close it out at home, the final game of the year against the Raiders. But next week, a trip to Miami to play the Dolphins. And I know the Dolphins got beat today, but that's a trip game. That's one of those things you look at the Dolphins losing record and you say, well, geez, we'll just chalk up a W here. I'm not sure that'll be quite that easy.
Yeah, a few teams have done that mistakenly this year.
Miami defensively can make people look bad.
We find out now that Tennessee has just beaten the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, and talk about a coaching job. How about what Jeff Fisher's done in Tennessee? And Vince Young, the legend, continues to grow.
The Jaguars fall to 8-6. The Jets about to improve to 8-6.
Well, we have one pass rusher. How about there is a unique formation.
Quick pass out to the side and the lateral. This is McMullen running out of bounds and stops the clock with a second to play.
I wonder if Dwayne Robertson, lined up there all by himself, really was feeling kind of manly about the whole thing. I'll take all of y'all. Check this out. I don't care if there's 6 of you. I'm feeling my oats today. Bring it on.
And if you're the offensive line coach, can you block it? There he is, the lonely soldier out front. The Hail Mary for the end zone. Popped up in the air and falls incomplete.
Oh, Williamson had it for just a second.
26-13 Jets is the final score. For Dan Deerdorf, Greg Gumbel, so long from Minnesota. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Coming up, it's the Subway postgame show. We'll take you to New York for all of the scores and highlights from around the National Football League right after this.